Well, thank you very much, Sean. Quite a number of issues, actually, and the management of election in Nigeria is not radically different from the management of elections in the sub-region. You referred to my role in the ECOWAS network of electoral commissions. The same challenges of managing the political environment, the behavior of the political actors, the cost of conducting elections, the issue of technology in elections, reducing the incidence of violence in elections, quite a number of challenges. Nigeria is part and parcel of the regional community, and we have had our own challenges. So quite a number of issues, one of which is the deployment of technology. We would like a situation where the electoral legal environment is reformed in such a manner that will continue to deepen the deployment of technology in elections. We are so far happy with what the Commission has done since 2010. Recall that there is a trajectory. We started in 2010 with the biometric register of voters. And so in 2011, the Commission essentially updated the biometric register. And we did the same thing in 2014 and in 2017 and 2018 over a period of 16 months, in which we added 14.2 million Nigerians to the register. We would like to see this enhanced. The second is biometric accreditation of voters. And there's a new innovation introduced in 2015, the smart card readers that go along with the permanent voters card. We've achieved that. We are looking forward, particularly with the 2015 amendment to the Electoral Act that empowers the Commission to deepen the use of technology in voting, particularly in the area of electronic voting, to see how far we can go a notch higher. And the Commission is committed to introducing at least electronic balloting in the major election we are going to conduct next year, which happens to be the Anambra governorship election in November. And thereafter, with the support of the National Assembly, we hope the legal environment will improve such that we can also go ahead to collect and transmit results electronically. At present, the law doesn't permit that. The system is essentially manual. That is on the technology side. On the other side, we are essentially concerned about the failure or inability to penalize electoral offenders. This has been at the heart of many of the challenges we faced. Some elections were declared inconclusive simply as a result of violence. And I like the way you started, Sean, by referring to all the efforts made in the past, at least over the last 11 years. Recommendations have been made by one committee after another, and it appears that there is a convergence of intention between particularly the Executive and the National Assembly on the issue of punishment for electoral offenders. Recall the recommendations of the Waste Committee. Nothing was done to the recommendations of that committee. In 2011, we had a major post-election violence. The Lemu Committee was set up. It made the same recommendation, accepted in a white paper by government, but we didn't make progress. Then 2015, 2016, this administration set up the Ken Namani Committee. And the Ken Namani Committee made the same recommendation. And there have been movement also on the part of the National Assembly with several private members' bills for the establishment of the Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal. We hope that this time around, as part of the reforms of our electoral process, we'll pay particular attention to that issue. At present, the Commission is saddled with a responsibility that I have repeatedly said that it has neither the capacity nor the absolute legal backing to implement. For instance, INEC is saddled with the responsibility of prosecution of electoral offenders. How do you prosecute electoral offenders when the first step towards prosecution is arrest? INEC has no police. We have to rely on the regular police. We have been working with the Inspector General of Police in that regard, arising from the general elections conducted last year. 16 case files have been forwarded to the Commission, and we are prosecuting those offenders in the places where the offenses were committed as provided by law. But we have our constraint in that respect. Secondly, there has to be proper investigation that will provide the evidence that will lead to successful prosecution of offenders. We simply have no capacity to investigate offenses committed. But here we are saddled with the responsibility to prosecute electoral offenders. And we have very good staff doing conscientious, good work, but some of the offenders may be the Commission's own staff. It's very difficult for any organization to penalize or punish or prosecute itself. So we completely agree with the recommendations made by previous committees and the kind of movement we have had from the National Assembly through private members' bills to establish the Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal. Showing I've said this over and over again, that any nation that does not penalize its electoral offenders is doomed. So we cannot talk about democracy and fair, free, credible elections, and in the context of COVID, now safe elections, without ensuring that those who violate those laws are penalized. So essentially, these are the two items that come to mind immediately: deepening the use of technology in the conduct of elections and punishment for electoral offenders.